Siegfried was a foot soldier in this forever war. A stout, short-haired, bearded, 51-year-old white man from southern Delaware. He carried a life-size Confederate flag into the seat of American democracy, threatening to murder the vice president. Those around him shouted, "Kill Mike Pence," as he waved the symbol of slaveholders under the majestic white rotunda. Some members of the mob had already used their flagpoles to impale police officers. Others prepared to do much worse. On the grass field in front of the Capitol, Siegfried's Confederates had assembled a wooden gallows with a noose, a uniquely American symbol of racist vengeance. They were ready to lynch the vice president and other elected leaders who undermined their control of the government. It did not matter that the vice president had been a loyal servant to his party. Kill Mike Pence, hang Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The mob knew what they were saying. They would not permit people to gain power who were different from them. Black, brown, Asian, female, even if elected by millions of votes. Power mattered more than justice. Status, especially for those fearful of losing it, mattered more than freedom. The Confederate flag symbolized it all. Like many others in the mob, Siegfried brought his son, Hunter, to the insurrection. It was a proud moment for a father who had spent many of his years in and out of work, living in an economically depressed area 2 hours from the Capitol. He and his son were taking back their country, showing that they could make a difference, standing up for fellow working-class families who felt forgotten. They would not accept the president elected by non-white voters. The Confederate flag was their battle flag. Some might find it odd that the symbol of a defeated regime should fly so high for insurrectionists, but that is part of this American history. The flag that Siegfried carried into the Capitol emblazoned the jackets, shirts, trucks, and homes of millions of citizens. The Confederate emblem, in fact, became more popular after the collapse of the Confederacy. As this book shows, the image of the flag was resilient because defeat was not followed by a sustained uprooting of the cause behind it. Although the battles were lost, at Gettysburg, at Vicksburg, at Atlanta, and beyond, the racial hatred was not given up. Ironically, the legend of the lost cause was added to a creed that wasn't lost at all, and to a conflict that ended only militarily at Appomattox, but sinuously continued through other means. Originally designed as a battle flag for Robert E. Lee's army, the blue diagonal cross with stars on a red background was adopted by Confederate Army veterans and placed around their communities as a statement of defiance. It was a marker of protest against helping black men at the cost of whites. The flag became a trigger for resistance to civil rights, and it spread widely among families who felt attacked by reformers, activists, and federal law enforcement. Politicians used the Confederate flag to advocate for white supremacy without saying those words. Their followers knew what they meant, but they could not be quoted by their critics, especially in a court of law. The flag allowed for violent provocation without responsibility. Southern Democrats who sponsored Jim Crow violence against African Americans, especially the Dixiecrats after the Second World War, found the flag a very effective tool. It aroused attacks on uppity African Americans who pushed for improved treatment, and it promised to preserve a traditional America. Dixiecrats contended that they were defending a historical symbol, not the repression. They blamed race agitators for undermining law and order. This was a terrible fiction. In reality, the flag was an advertisement for inhumane cruelty. It was not very different from the Nazi swastika or the straight-armed fascist salute. And it continues to send the same message, threatening to its targets, empowering to those who display it. The Confederate flag is the bullhorn of the racist bully. When lynch mobs hung a man from a tree, as happened frequently and without punishment during the first half of the 20th century, the people in the crowd displayed the Confederate flag. When white groups, including local police officers, beat peaceful marchers in the 1960s.